as we're getting to our fresh best of 3. I'll set up the players. Beautiful. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Pylon, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran making his debut, I want to say, in the StarCraft Evolution League proper tournaments, as he's been mainly showcased in show matches and invitationals, but it is Dice. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Brood War Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran. It is Taeja. Here we go. Again, we'll see how the two do compare as we're getting into our TvT. When it comes to the rest of the matches here tonight, we do have the SEC versus Horn Mono, which again, the SEC has also been playing some Protoss, and we have Rebellion versus Rare Breed as well. So we will have some Zerg representation. I'm not too certain if 3-Point competed in this week's tournament, maybe just a little bit less active here this week. Likewise, my heart goes out to Quanta. He's been absent for quite some time. I know that's again, there was some certain tragedies like IRL for Quanta, and so we've seen a little bit less of him, but much love, much love. Hopefully everything's okay. From the side of Senor Quanta. Much love. As for now, we have our double gas. For now, we do have our double gas openers all around for both Dice and Taeja. From here, we're going to be settling in. So far, mirrored builds again. Double gas means faster factory, means delayed CC. So both players are mirroring each other. I'm curious to see if we see Taeja embrace mech again. I'm curious to see if Dice embraces mech as well. Again, we haven't really seen too much of. Actually, I think this is the first time we're casting Dice in TvT. We featured him in the show match, of course, against Shin, and we featured Dice in the SEL Masters number 4 as well, but that was mainly against Protoss, if I recall correctly. So yeah, we haven't seen much of Dice. I think this might be the first time we're covering Dice's TvT, actually. Okay. Let's go. Let's go. This is going to be our first time. Let's see in chat. Taeja plays SC2 again. He does not. Taeja plays StarCraft Evolution. For those who are curious, Taeja, he showed up like a month ago, maybe? Around a month ago, maybe like 3 weeks to a month ago at this point. And Taeja, he has been competing, but again, he only competes in StarCraft Evolution. It's similar to Su. Like, for those that are curious, Su, he's been competing again, but only in StarCraft Evolution, only in invitationals. I want to say that Su, he did compete in the CranKy Epic Series against Taeja a couple of days ago. He played a best of 9. Played a best of 9 with Taeja. But yeah, just StarCraft Evolution. Is this Taeja? The old... yes. See, papi, see. The Prince of Summer himself. It's beautiful. As behind this, we're going for extra ranks, so Taeja is going to be playing Bio. Let's go. No mech. I was curious. He baits out the mine shot. Nice, starting a dive. Back at home does go for the tech lab. It goes for a cyclone opener into early tank, into early drop play. So Dice is going to be the aggressor. And here we go. Here he comes. As he loads up and zooms across the map. We'll see if Taeja can keep up. As Dice does make his way towards the main. Taeja back at home, securing himself. Getting to bio, getting into medic production as well. Stim is on the way. And isn't quite in position to defend. Yeah, not quite. Vulcan is brutal. Vulture goes down. Nice pick up, delay some of the production. Taeja is trying to keep up. So far, zones away. As he gets distracted, there's going to be an opening here at the natural. Reavers, they move in, but the tank's in position, and the tank does punish. Oof. Yeah, just barely. Nice done by Taeja. Likewise, he's ready here at the natural as well. Stim is now done. And Dicey will get out. He will pull out. He does get a full scout of the main base. He's fully aware of the pyre. He sees the 3-rack setup. And he backs off. Looking for another way in. Once again, Dice just abusing his mobility here in the Brutal versus StarCraft 2 matchup. Still rallying across the map. Behind this, going for a third CC. So he is expanding. He's not going all in, but his goal here should be to contain. To contain the Terran. Up! Mitchell goes off. Brutal connection. Tank does survive. Dice is ready. Yeah, he's set up outside. Brutal tank shots going off. Taeja getting punished. Taeja, he has to retreat. From here, he pulls away, still waiting for his own marine range to finish up. Thankfully, Dice also getting into Bio. Getting into his 5 Raxes. Endurance Matrix is done. Throwing down the disables though. And Dice, he will take this fight. He breaks through the tanks, breaks through the Bio, and he will clean everything up. Just a really brutal fight here for Taeja. And Dice, he breaks through. He breaks through, and there's nothing to stop him. There's one tank, there's a handful of Marines. There's a tank further back. But Taeja is being bullied back here. Not just being contained, but being forced further into his own natural. Again, just some really rough engagements into siege tanks. Likewise, dropping towards the main. And just pulling Taeja apart. Taeja scans. He does see the third CC's already done. Boys are being pulled. It's going to be a rough break out here from Taeja, but he will break through. Yeah, he gets the tank. Oh god, but there's still more. There's still more tanks. Auto tower gets thrown down. SCV's going to be falling. Takes down one more tank. But again, these trades are brutal for Taeja. They are brutal. Wedge rotates into the main. Into the main base. Trying to get within range of the production. Now behind this, Taeja is getting his third base on location. Cheeky move out of Taeja. We'll see if he can get away with it. We'll see if he can survive, as again, Dice is not stopping. He's still just rallying everything across the map. He's not stopping, not slowing down. Taeja once again, he pulls a couple of boys to break out. Oh, there's the disable. And once again, Dice does target fire. Goes to the Marines, takes down the tank. Takes down one of the tanks. Still attempting to rally. I mean, Taeja, he's holding on at least for the time being. Oh god, there's just so many Marines here, and he's finally getting on top of the tanks. And this time there's no answer. This time there are no boys being pulled. There's no buffer. That's what's been keeping Taeja in this, is pulling the boys. Not anymore. I see we'll lose another 3 tanks. Dice once again moving in. Sims on the final tank. Brings it down. And with that, GG. GG gets called. Dice, he breaks through. He breaks Taeja, and Dice takes a lead in the series. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, just a really rough start from Taeja. We were referring to it earlier, bleeding out a lot of bio, bleeding out a lot of units as he did move out to get caught by those tanks. Unfortunately, he was unaware. He was unaware of Dice's position originally, and he just took some really rough trades, and from there, everything just snowballed out of control. Dice, he was unrelenting. He didn't really let up. He just kept on pushing, kept on going, was able to get tanks here and there, Marines here and there, and yeah, just crippled Taeja over time. GG. GG, well played. With that, Dice does take a lead in the series, and we'll see if he can close the series out. We'll see if Taeja can force the ace match. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Vermeer, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, now the Brood War Terran player. Leading the series 1-0, it is Dice. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Terran player, the StarCraft 2 Terran, the returning Terran himself. Down in the series, can he force the ace match? It is at Taeja. Here we go. Now, for those who are curious when it comes to the format, just because it looks like there might be some newer viewers in the chat in regards to StarCraft Evolution, it is loser's pick when it comes to whether they commit to one race or the other. So last game, DICE was SE2 Terran, Taeja was Brood War Terran, and coming into game 2, because Taeja lost game 1, he did pick StarCraft 2. So he's now going to be able to play StarCraft 2 Terran, and he's forcing DICE into Brood War Terran. Again, it's always one versus the other. It's never a mirror matchup. It's never SE2 versus SE2. It's never Brood War versus Brood War, at least not in StarCraft Evolution. At least not in StarCraft Evolution League. As the mod is StarCraft Evolution, this tournament is StarCraft Evolution League, and there are other tournaments out there that do allow for that sort of thing. They do allow for mirror matchups like Kung Fu Cup, and also some show matches as well. They also do allow that. But here it is always strictly one versus the other. As well, going on to Vermeer. Vermeer is a ported Brood War map from many years ago. It is a 4-player spawn map. You can spawn in top right, top left, bottom left, and bottom right as well. So both players are scouting for each other, and once again, both players scout in the same direction. They will check top right of Vermeer. Behind this, we do have a 3-rack setup here out of DICE, likewise 3-rack setup out of Taeja. We have a bit of a Spider-Man meme. Both players going into fast stim, both players going into an early mass marine stim timing. Oh boy. But of course, different eras, different generations of build. Let's go. So from here, we should be working towards the academy. Obviously, the big advantage here that DICE is going to have is the ability to get into medics. When it comes to production and when it comes to supportive units as well for bio, the academy does allow you to make firebats and make medics early on. Meanwhile, from the side of the SE2 Terran player, you have to wait until your factory, you have to wait until your starboard is done to get into any kind of support, to get into those medevacs. As Marines are amassing from both sides. There's the academy on the way. As we did mention, the academy is for stim and the academy is for medic production. Meanwhile, they have scattered each other. They're both aware it is going to be cross spawn, it is going to be diagonal spawn locations, so longest rush distance possible here on Vermeer. This will deter like aggressive play. Does mean the defender has that much more time to set up a defense, to build up back at home. There we go, Tech Lab is on the way, so Taeja can get into his own stim. Academy's almost done. Just not finishing. And there's stim. Stim is now on the way. Fast eBay for +1. And again, this is going to be a strong stim timing here out of DICE. Likewise, Taeja doing the same in his own way. Also getting to stim. As there we go, medic production has begun. And again, as we mentioned, as we were trying to emphasize at the start of this game, like this is the big advantage here of the Brood War side of things, is to go into these medics, to have that support already. So medics are joining the fray. It does mean that DICE can stim a little bit more freely. Taeja scouts, yep, he confirms the medics, he confirms the bio army, he sees the move out. Taeja is setting up back at home. We already have the bunker is done, factory is going to be on the way. Marines, they do rotate, they get in position. Oh, we have optic flare being researched, let's go. I want to say the first time, I want to say like some of the first weeks of StarCraft Evolution is when we saw the most out of optic flare, especially in TvP. It was amazing. But it's a rare upgrade nowadays, unfortunately. Like, especially now that the meta has settled and certain builds have been more effective than others. Cancels. Never mind. Speaking of, cancels optic flare, does get into 238 shells. That is Marine range. Range for the Marines. You know what, DICE, he does. Oh, stim prematurely. Okay, does stim in. Does stim in, but he's up against a bunker, and with that, Taeja, he will hold. He will hold on, he will defend. Again, he has the defender's advantage. He has the bunker to work with him. He can pull the boys to repair. And DICE is deflected. So far, so good. It's like, yes, sure, DICE has medics, but he's up against a bunker of all things. So Taeja holds behind this, getting into the main base. Third TC is on the way. Taeja getting to a 3-1-1 setup. Combat shields, add-on swap, and medevacs are on the way. Taeja just weathering the storm. As the Marine of the Bio Army does get caught, does get shut down. Nice, does race back. And from here, I'm going to be favoring Taeja's position. Dice is still working on his third TC, still getting up to that halfway mark. Taeja's going to be the first to expand. Ideally, Taeja's going to want to contain Dice, contain him, and keep him on 2 bases for as long as possible. Speaking of, third base now on the way, but Taeja is moving out. Let's go. Irradiate is being researched. Science facility is done. Look at the vessels on the way. As Taeja, he's searching for the third. He's rotating over. Does scan, does spot the army. Taeja, he has the high ground. Quick reminder as well is we do have high ground advantage here in StarCraft Evolution. There is a percentage chance to miss if you do attack up into high ground or into like shrouded areas. That's where these kind of cliff faces, so that's where these hills, these points of elevation do actually come into play. Gotta respect it. To respect the high ground back. True. Taeja's maneuvering in. Both armies, they miss each other. Yeah, Dice scans his head towards the third base of Taeja. At the same time, Taeja heads towards the third base of Dice. There are some tanks sieged up, but they're a little bit further behind. They're a little bit further back. As the armies, they might just clash. And they run in. Taeja trying to send one forward. Does catch the medics, not bad. Okay, medics are getting picked off. Nice targets there from Taeja. Does catch the medics. Science vessel moving in. Oh. Speaking of this, he irradiates. Nice splits. Nice splits around Taeja. Tanks now are going to be moving out. Taeja commits with the entire army. Does rally across. Bearing in mind that for those who are curious, Irradiate does run out when the target dies. That's the downside of using Irradiate on Marines, is that Marines have a very low health pool. As Taeja is moving in. So here we're holding on to the Irradiate. We are holding on. Marines moving in, tanks they do zone. Nice splits. Nice splits out of Taeja. Bearing in mind you can opt to kill your own unit as well to just get rid of Irradiate. As Taeja's getting into the middle line, SCV's going to be going down. Losing 10, 12, 13 SCVs, late to pull away. Yeah, very late out of Dice. And again, he has been outpositioned. More tanks pushing forward. Going for the defense matrix. Does save the tank. Mio, we just drop into the main. Yeah, we're going for the doom drop. Tank is caught off guard. The rest of the army just completely out of position. Oh, dig another radiate though. Oh, brutal damage. Oh my god. Yeah, no splits. No splits whatsoever. Dice, he will hold, he will defend, he will clean up the main. But not without losing more SCVs. Gonna be 10 more workers going down. Oh no! Ooh, medevac does fall. Does not escape. Taeja trying to rush in. And the tanks are left on their own, left unattended. Takes down 1, 2, takes down almost 3 tanks. Yeah, third tank goes down, takes down the mineral line. And this was very costly from Taeja. He played out all of his bio. He might lose the entire army. he does deny the base. He denies the base, denies the expansion. 21 SCV kills. Behind this, getting a 4th CC on location. Taeja taking more bases. He can afford these trades. He can afford these losses. And he has maintained his tank count. The tank count is still solid. Dai's trying to go for a counterattack. Taeja, he does notice. Yeah, he does notice. Does cut him off. Taeja has the full mag. As he's being collapsed upon. And Dai takes the fight, cleans up the tank. Does keep pushing, and Taeja is racing back home. Tanks are left unattended. There's the Unsiege. Taeja setting up. Dai's claiming his 4th. Again, Dai took a lot of economic damage. Despite that, still has a very high science vessel count. Like, he's built it up over time. Does find the planetary. We get the mesh repair. Jesus. Planetary does stand strong. Back at home, Taeja defends. He preserves the tanks, true. Looking at the unit stat, we have 7 tanks to 4. A couple of Liberators in the mix. Couple of Libs. Lore production has begun. I mean, that's going to help against the science vessels. True. Will help. Ooh, and he's going for the 3rd. Sorry, he's going for the 4th. And unlike Taeja, there's no planetary. There's no planetary. Not here. Nice irradiates. Very nice. Getting a lot of damage dealt to the army. A lot of splash damage. Really, Taeja just holding the line. Just holding the line. Just zoning away the army. And the CC is going to go down. It's going to be 11 SCVs. And the command center. That's what's brutal about this map. That's what's brutal about this position. It's just a very isolated expansion. This one goes down. Nice target firing at Taeja. As you mentioned, you can kill your own marine. You can focus it down. Or split. You have the option. As Taeja, he's now maxed out, and again, a big reason for this is just the economy. The untouched 3rd base, the 4th base, now the 5th base on the way as well. Economically, Taeja's just getting out of hand. He's getting out of control. And Dice just cannot keep up. Know the economy of Taeja. Taeja moving in. Despite the defense magic, yeah, it doesn't matter. There's just an overwhelming army here. It takes on both tanks. Sends on forward. Goes to the CC. He does that damage the repair. And Dice cannot keep up. Doors have arrived. And he breaks through the siege line. Yeah, behind this, there's nothing left. There's, what, 2 tanks, a couple of science vessels. They have limited energy. Plenty of marines, but he cannot push into the tanks. Taeja slowly pushing forward. Does get another tank. There's 1 tank left. 1 more on the low ground. Just decent irradiate. But the tanks are set. Yeah, the tanks are sieged. Dicey pulls the boys, tries to break out. It's not going to be pretty. He does break through the Thors. And barely cleans up the tanks. He's going to be down to 56 SCVs here. Does save, or does replace the expansion. Double expanding even. Taking his 3rd and 4th. Dice is hanging in there. He's holding on. But the problem here is that, again, Dice is fighting for his life. He's fighting for his bases. Meanwhile, Taeja's been chilling. Like, Taeja, again, his bases have been left untouched the entire game. Okay, more mineral lands up and running. More efficient mining. And with that, almost instantly remaxes. He's rebuilt. He's remaxed. Dice trying to hold his own. I mean, he can still take a fight, especially if he does catch the army unsieged. Brutal EMP. Yeah, EMP on the science vessel. Speaking of, that is the only one. We just got a second vessel now popping out. Again, that's been the other big factor keeping DICE in these games, has been the high vessel counts, but that's not the case, not anymore. Gets one more. Oh, Jesus. Oh my god, where are the splits? Oh my god. The evading was brutal. All the Marines go down, tanks are left unattended, and thanks to that one irradiate, DICE who will take the fight. Where were the splits, Pappy? Where were the splits? And DICE holds. Let's go. The power of the one irradiate. I say the power of the one irradiate. The power of also not being able to split in time and not being able to avoid the irradiate damage. Taeja did panic. As DICE is holding on. He's holding. He's got one more irradiate. Uno más, Papi. Uno más. Taeja does rotate. Ooh, does not quite get the EMP. So Ghost goes down. Liberation's being set up. Nice defense matrix saves the tank. Takes down both liberators. As Taeja rotates, does find a free tank. The other downside here is that, again, there's going to be a little bit less energy here for the radiates. One does connect. Taeja does split. This time he splits nicely. Oof. Yeah, this radiation is just playing at the army. And once again, the splits are not quite there. Does kill his own Marine towards the end. And likewise, stemming forward. Does push into a siege line. A brutal trade here for Taeja. Bleeds out a lot of Marines. But he barely breaks through, takes out one of the tanks. Still not the cleanest trade. But still just rattling. Still just rattling everything across the map. DICE is back up to a 4-base economy. Okay. He's built back up. Oh, but DICE is cornered. Yeah, he's cornered. Marines aced him in. Oh, the medics are on their own. And medics are going down. The mineral line goes down as well. We spoke about it, but this base is so difficult to defend. Supports are being pulled. Leading up more SCVs, but hey, it does take down some of these tanks. But GG finally gets called, and Taeja, he will take game number 2, tying up the series 1-1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. Taeja does tie things up, and we are going to the ace match. Whew. We're going to game 3. Again, very intense back and forth. But as we mentioned, for the most part, Taeja, he was able to gain map control and he never let it go. The initial opener of DICE kind of fell on its face. If you remember, he went for a stim timing, which he tried to break the bunker. He failed to do so, fell behind, tried to get into a third base. But again, Taeja did the best he could to delay the third base, to apply pressure, and to maintain that map control. At no point were the bases of Taeja ever under any real threat. We saw some attempted run-bys, some attempted counterattacks with the planetaries. They held their own. Planetaries, they held their own, and with that, GG well played. We are going to the ace match. Let's go. Let us go. So, getting into game number 3. Cecil Ensvard and the Pope in the chats. Is this Taeja? Yes, it is ex-Liquid Taeja. He's been back for, again, it's been, I think, a month. I think he's been back for a month or so. Either like a month or like 3 weeks, something like that. But we have been covering him, and here we go. We're getting into the ace match. Oh, we're getting into game 3, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Maganatha, we have the red Terran player. We have the red Terran himself, the South Korean Terran, being forced into the ace match. Can he bring it back? It is DICE. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the Brood War Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran. Tying up the series, it is Taeja. Go. I should also emphasize as well, as we were just notified by Hyper One that apparently Taeja is only going to be back for a time. It looks like he's waiting for, it sounds like, what the exams to be done for his civil service, and then I would imagine he would enter the workforce in some way. So it looks like Taeja's only playing just while he has a little bit of free time before, you know, taking that next step in his life. So we have to appreciate Taeja while we can, So now, once again, we have a double gas opener out of Dice, double gas out of Taeja. I should also emphasize that Dice, after losing that last game, he has switched to SE2 Terran. It does feel like both of them have been fighting for SE2 Terran, which makes sense. Again, like its mobility is paramount, right? It's unrivaled, at least in this TvT matchup. Again, it's really a mirror matchup in name only. Like the races themselves work very differently. They share some similar units, but again, their dynamic is very different, as you've been seeing. It's difficult to kind of wrangle map control away from your opponent, away from the StarCraft 2 Terran. But we'll see how players will approach this. Meanwhile, we do have a straight up 1-1. Okay, a straight up 1-1-1 out of Taeja. No CC, no expand. Very committed, very dedicated here on one base. Oh, Reaper does get in, and Reaper gets a full scout. He gets a full scout. He does get eyes on the starport. Taeja, he fails to deny the block or to deny the scout. Ay. So a slip up there out of Taeja, and of course Dice is now aware of how much danger he's going to be in. And does Taeja commit to okay, I was going to say, is he going to commit to a one-base all in? The answer is no, he's going for a delayed CC after the starport. Go. Anyone miss Polt? Nesty, MC, MVP. I mean, MC is back, to be fair, so if you want to watch MC, like, his games are out there as well. We actually we casted a show match with MC at the start of the year, if you recall. He competed in an SE Evo show match as well. So the boss toss is back in some capacity. For those that maybe aren't following ASL or Brood War, MC, he plays a little. I mean, he's been willing to compete in StarCraft Evolution and to play in show matches, but MC's been devoting a little more time to Brood War this year. To Brood War, alongside True. MMA. If you want to catch up with MMA, he had an interview with Zombie recently that was uploaded to the GLHF YouTube channel. So it was really fun to catch up with MMA again. But he was interviewed. And he's been posting on social media as well. MMA, after seeing Impact, he was motivated to hit the gym again, so he's been working out. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. As you have it, Taeja dipping between the bases, does open up Wraith. Okay, so I was curious what the 1-1-1 was going to be here for, but does go for a Wraith base opener. Takes down one SCV. Doesn't get too much damage done though. Again, ooh, as he's being chased down by the Cyclones, a big investment, and both Wraiths go down. Ay, that was not worth it here. 2 Wraiths for a couple Marines, 2 Wraiths for an SCV as well. Bearing in mind that Taeja also researched Cloak, so there was a bigger investment here into those Wraiths than normal. Speaking of, another Wraith has arrived, but so far has yet to really pay for itself. As Taeja is going to be zoned away. But yes, MMA, he was interviewed in Korea. It's cool to see him again. Behind this, we're getting into our own bio setup, not mech. Let's go. We're just getting into his own 2-base tank, 2-base bio tank. Jeez, the Wraith just tickles SCVs. The repairs are enough to keep the SCV alive. As the Wraith pokes in. And is doing what he can. Oh god. Yeah, from here the Wraith gets cleaned up. Dicey does push across the map. Gaining map control, containing his opponents. And so far Taeja is going to be stuck on 2 bases. And has not yet started a third. He's contained on 2 bases. Building up his science vessels. Tank spinning him back. Within range of the bunker. From here he's within range. Inverse Matrix has been researched, likewise so has Irradiate. And we'll see if Taeja can break out. Meanwhile, as Taeja's being contained, Dice gets a third. Gets a third base on location. And again, just taking advantage of that map control, looking to get further ahead economically. Liberation has arrived as well. Taeja does go for the breakout though. Yeah, he does commit. There's the Irradiate. Dust in forward. Tank's a little bit late to siege. It's going to be close here, but it looks like Taeja, does he have enough? Oh, he'll lose all the Marines. All the Marines go down, and Tank's going to be falling as well. Dicey breaks on through. He breaks through the siege line, and Dicey cleans up the army. From here, he can just keep on going. He can just keep on pushing. There's 1 tank remaining. Taeja barely not enough. Boys are being pulled. Oh, and he will chase back the Vikings. We'll chase him back. A bit of an awkward setup here from Dice. Does siege. Taeja, he's surviving. He's holding on. just barely. Vikings, they hunt down the science vessel. Trying to bait the army within the range of the tanks. Oof. The volley goes off. Volley goes off. Taeja being forced back. Also, I could be crazy. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Nesty was playing SE Evolution as well, right? I'd have to in the streamer showdown. But here we go. Taeja, he breaks out. He does in forward. Vikings a little bit late to land, but they do land in time despite that. Tanks are cleaned up, and Taeja, he holds. He holds. He takes on the tank line behind this, claiming his own third base. Taeja trying to break out. Breakouts. Taeja's still being active. West Ice dropping into the main. Ooh, meanwhile, Taeja not quite in position. SCV's going to be going down. He's at 5 SCVs. 5 workers falling. Thankfully, is able to zone away. Taeja pushing through the left-hand side. He did preserve his science vessels, if you recall. Barely did preserve them. So he's got mass irradiates. The Young Prince does go off. There's the irradiate in the army. Oh my god! Yeah, shuts down the bio, shuts down the Marines. The irradiate does so much. And Taeja breaks through. Does break through the main army at the same time. Double drop here into the natural. Taeja is paying attention. He's keeping up. Taeja, he's ready. Taeja, he is ready, he's secure. Nice, still zoning him away. Oof. Taking out more Marines. Jump back into the main. Taeja, he's set up. Taeja takes on the drop. Wraith does help out with that. Taeja moving in. There's a defense matrix. Let's go. Does tank those tank shots. And nice engage from Taeja. Takes down the tanks. Breaks through the siege line. Oh good. Does take some brutal shots to the face, but does get the final tank. And now what's left? The boys are being pulled. That's where Radiant comes in. The punish. Oh my god. Wins one though. Yeah, the low HP Marine. This time the Irradiates are less impactful. Yeah, they achieve a little bit less. Despite that, the Marines, they come in to reinforce just in time. 12 SCVs go down. And Taeja is breaking through. He does break through. Gets on top of the 4th base. No planetary, not this time. Okay, there's no planetary. Marines being bullied back. Taeja is up in upgrades. He has +2. Yeah, +2 a little bit late here for Dice. As Taeja tries to hold his own. Barely is able to. And again, denies the 4th base. Behind this, getting his own. He's holding on. We do have once again Dice trying to go for drop lane. Jeez, completely caught out. Shout out to the, of course, Naga tower in the center. As Taeja did spot the drop. Shuts him down, gains map control. Again, it's difficult to do so here with Brutal Terran, so impressive. As the game is slowing down. Again, it's been quite intense. Both players getting into 4 bases, both players building up. I will say that the science vessel count is a little bit lower now for Taeja. It's down to 3. Gathering that energy. Likewise, going to be on the Vikings of Dice to zone away the science vessels. We saw that last game, Taeja was making use of Ghosts and EMPs. We have the Ghost Academy just now finishing up for Dice, so Ghosts are not quite ready yet. Oh. As the vessel does go down. Let's pick up out of Dice. Does catch the vessel. Going for another as well. Yeah, that second vessel taking a lot of damage. And it's gonna go down. Yeah, it does fall. Lands 1 irradiate. Gets some decent damage. Jesus. And Dice not quite in position here. And Taeja looking for a way in. Tanks are running into the siege line. Yeah, a bit of miscontrol here from Dice. Some rough army movement. Tanks are sieging. Tanks are sieging up, does tank an EMP. Massive EMP on the medics. Yeah, the vessel goes down as well, but there's just an overwhelming bio-army here. Taeja breaks on through, breaks into the natural. And yes, Dice has his siege line, but it's out of position. He's out of position, he cannot protect the natural. Denies +3, stims into the main. There's 1 tank in the main. And again, Dice, the army just, he cannot defend. And he's trying to rotate. Pushing into the bio-army, pushing into Taeja. Taeja breaking in. And he cancels production. Yeah, he cancels production. Dice, he's supply blocked. Final tanks going down. And Taeja, he has done it again, just going right down mid, right into the heart of the Terran. Dice, oh, he still cannot push up the ramp. He cannot push up. He cannot get out of his 3rd. And down goes the main. Down goes everything in the main base. And Slick moves out of Taeja. Dice, he is trapped. I mean, he can try to unsiege and go for a drop, but at this point it's too late. At this point the damage has been done. Losing the Raxes, the Ghost Academy. does try to make his way back into his own main base. At this point, there's nothing left. There's just nothing in the main. This army for Taeja is trapped. There are no dropships, so he cannot get out outside of going through the ramp. So in that sense, Taeja, this army it's going to have a hard time escaping. That's a very nice EMP. Covers every single science vessel. But Marines, they break out, they kill the natural. They break down to low ground. Just break down. Another radiate goes off. Radiate goes off, and again, Dice, he's coping a little bit. He's just because he's still supply blocked, right? After losing everything in the main base, he lost so many depots, he's still supply blocked, stuck at 100 supply. He just cannot get out of that. He's stuck at really 62, 99 at 62. So he just cannot produce. He's holding onto his bases. Again, it's hard to break a turtling Terran. Oh. Taeja stims in. Pushing into the tanks. Not going to be pretty here. Does try to force his way through. Comes in from behind. Gets a full surround. And he's done it. So GG gets called. And Taeja, he will take the series 2-1. Taking down Dice and advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. With that, congratulations, Taeja. He will claim the series. A very intense back and forth, and even here in the final game, Dicey had his own strong moments, but Taeja, he was able to outposition. He was able to make use of his own science vessels quite nicely, punishing the army clumping up. We saw that Dice had a much harder time splitting his forces and avoiding that splash damage, more so than Taeja previously. And with that, GG. GG, well played. A really really solid performance there by Taeja. Does claim the series, does advance on to those semis. Congratulations. Oh boy, and we still have some more quarterfinals matches ahead of us here, of course. It's still as we're still going to be heading into the lower portion of the bracket. Up next, we have the STC versus Honmono. Again, if you're an old school fan of StarCraft, even older than Taeja, we have the STC. He was also a Korean Terran player. He retired back in Heart of the Swarm, and nowadays he's more of a caster. I'm going to be covering him against Honmono here. Honmono is going to be coming in as a favorite player, but really cool to see the SCC competing here. Again, the SCC, he did come back, I want to say at the end of last year. He came back around the end of last year, beginning of this year. Came back to competing specifically in StarCraft Evolution, and came back to casting and streaming in StarCraft Evolution tournaments as well. He streams over on Chijijik, so fellow caster. Let's go.